Hey, what's up, guys? This is Greg from Grommet, and we are really excited for today's live LinkedIn Live. This is the third LinkedIn Live that we're doing now for brands. Last week, we had a really good time, and today I've got a really special guest I'm going to bring on in just a second. But as we kickstart, I'm throwing up the graphic real quick. Let's jump into that chat. Let me know who is here. Where are you watching from? And also, I think it would help myself and the guest out today is tell us a little bit about your product, what your product is, so that we can help you out, point you in the right direction, because we have so much good stuff to cover. But if we can theme it towards your product, towards your niche, towards your industry, that's always super helpful. So as you guys jump on, what's super weird about LinkedIn Live and the streaming software we use, which is Restream, I have no idea how many people are on LinkedIn. So it always makes it fun. So the comments allow me to know that there are humans watching. Jordan says, "What's up?" So we are getting some people jumping on, which is fantastic. And so we got Riz from splitflask.com. Awesome, man. Love that. I know we're getting that up on Grommet really soon. Well, today's guest, I'm really excited for. We wanted to get these guys on Grommet, I think like the first week that we launched. And took time, and we finally got one of their products up. And now tomorrow, actually, we have our second product from Obvi going live on Grommet. Right now we have the Burn, and tomorrow, really exciting, we get the Detox going up on Grommet. So super excited. This brand is doing a ton of fun stuff, and we have their CEO, Ronak Shah, joining us today. So let me get him on the screen for you guys. Ron, man, appreciate you making some time and helping out a ton of Grommet brands today.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, Greg, thank you for having me on here. It's an honor. I've been a huge fan of what you guys have been building. I know my brand and multiple other brands that I'm affiliated to have gotten the opportunity to see incredible success on the platform. So kudos to you guys. Honored to be here and excited to talk to everyone in the audience as well.
Yeah, I love it. We got a ton of cool folks coming in. Jessica from beanto.com. They're actually launching tomorrow as well. They have a really cool product. Mark with Filter Direct. They are jumping on tomorrow. BiteSense D2C for teeth grinding. Super cool. Love that. Noke with Animote Feeder. We had them on Grommet Live a couple weeks ago. Man, the butterfly hats, a recently patented machine watchable and dryable, sustainable, non-PVC yoga mat. I love that, Donna.
Wow.
Super cool. We make jackets for Obvi to wear and keep them cool, says Rick Lee. We got a bunch of the Grommet team on here as well. So this is awesome, man. So today is really about how did Obvi get that first initial traction, that initial momentum. But before we kind of jump into that, why don't you give everybody an idea of like, what does Obvi look like today? How many SKUs, how many people? You guys always have the sexiest titles on Twitter. It's like 20 million in 20 months, 30 million in 30 months, 40 million in 40. Like, so, but give us an idea of what Obvi looks like today, and then also the things you've been able to spin out from Obvi, some of the agencies and things as well.
Absolutely. So, a few things. I think for those who aren't familiar with Obvi, we're a women's health and wellness brand focused around collagen, making collagen extremely fun and exciting, tasty, sexy. Our whole hypothesis was if collagen looks like something that's fun to take and it's tasty, you're probably going to want to take it just more often, right? And so we believe the world of health and wellness, if it becomes more fun and exciting to take, that people will just religiously get more healthy. So we took on that hypothesis 5 years ago, and since then we've just been chipping away at building this D2C behemoth, which wasn't initially, we never envisioned it would get to the size it is, and hope that it keeps growing. A little bit of our journey. Our first year we bootstrapped the brand with just about a $5,000 to $10,000 investment in inventory. Our first year we did about 180K. Our next year we did about 5 million. The year after that we did about 19 million. Last year we did about 23. This year we're on track to do close to 40 million. What's really cool is we're super profitable, and we focus on profitability on the first order. We're about a 12-person team now, 10 plus 2 freelancers, a 12-person team you can call it. So super lean, and we have a really cool hiring philosophy, which I'll get into in a bit. But overall, what do we look at right now, right? Like product-wise and composition-wise, we started with 2 SKUs, Fruity Cereal and Cocoa Cereal Collagen. So it's collagen powder in those 2 flavors. And our whole thing was if it tastes good, you'll just want to keep taking it, right? And then we basically have now expanded to over 15 different SKUs around different pill products that help you with different pill products that help you with weight loss, detoxing your body, cleansing your body. A lot of like wellness and products oriented towards better sleep, helping you fast better if you're an intermittent faster. There's a lot of cool different products that we have. Our Burn Elite, which you guys are seeing live right now, is our #1 seller. We're the #1 also in Walmart. We're nationwide in Walmart, and it's the #1 seller there, beat out Hydroxycut, which is really cool. We sell about, fun fact, we sell about 3,000 of these per day. We're also #1 on Amazon. We fluctuate there between the Kardashian brand and ours, but we're #1 there as well. So what's really cool is like we started in this collagen space that moved into like learning this weight loss space, and now like I think our identity is like we kind of do wellness and weight loss. And we're super proud of that, especially with the rise of Ozempic and stuff and following that trend. So that's a little bit of our composition now. You know, we've learned a lot through the journey. So excited to share it.
Yeah, man. I love that. And so jumping right in, let's talk about what Obvi looked like day one, right? Like, you know, I think you kind of just went through it, but like, what were the SKUs? Were you set up on Shopify? Were you just selling these at the trunk of your house? How much inventory did you get? Like what was like that day one? What did Obvi look like? Because I think a lot of people, they see it now, they see the optimized store, they see all these posts, but you know, what was it kind of like in those early days?
Yeah, great question. Early days, there was 3 of us founders. We're the only employees, and since then, I mean, 5 years later, we've only hired 9 more people. So we're still very early days in that way. But early days was us 3. We worked out of each other's apartments. We were in Jersey City, New Jersey, and it was you know, early mornings, long nights. Our product fulfillment was out of our apartments, and it was. I remember we had our initial order was we went to our manufacturer and they said it was 500 units of each product, and we were like, hey, we can only afford 500 units, period. And they were like, well, that would mean we'd have to do 250 units of each, which is half our minimum. And we were like, hey, listen, we can't launch this company with 1 SKU, because in the world of like supplements and product tasting, and when you have flavors involved, you want to have at least a power of 2. Usually you want power of 3, right? Because then people pick 1. Power of 2 is still okay. So we're like, there's no way we're launching with just 1, but that's all we could afford. So they actually made a special exception where they basically said, okay, we'll do it for you. However, if you do end up ordering more from us, we out of goodwill, we would hope that you guys make up for that difference in the next order. And we were like, yeah, of course, you know, we'll do that. And so we really got lucky on that first one, shipping product out of our house. And then right when we sold through 500 units, which nowadays doesn't seem like a lot, but at that time was like a huge amount. We started Facebook ads from day 1. We started building a community day 2. So if you go to Facebook and you type in Obvi community, that was like day 2 on the job. We started that. And then I think the next big piece for us was, how do we sell these 500 units, you know? And so Facebook ads at that time, obviously different climate, was much easier. We had a virality element that made us different, which is cereal flavored collagen, right? Whether or not you take collagen or whether or not you're into cereal, you're definitely going to stop and say, what the hell is this, right? So we got your attention because we had cereal falling in all the different photos and imagery. So we always understood hook rates before hook rates became a thing. And then we also understood like the differentiation piece was very, 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 very important for us. Like Vital Proteins is our #1 competitor. It's the blue bottle that everyone takes. And our whole thing was like, how are we going to be different from these people? And so we led with that piece. So our initial early days was super, super gritty. It was about selling 1 unit a day, not about how do we get rid of 500 in 2 weeks or this or that. It was, how do we sell 1 unit per day? Okay, if we sold 1 today, now tomorrow let's go to 2. And then let's go to 3, let's go to 4. And Ushrin, our CMO, you know, he's done a phenomenal job running our ads. And I always, one point I'll say is, it's super important to pick your co-founders very correctly. We are 3 different co-founders. We're best friends, but we're all 3 very distinct skill sets. So I was ops, finance, a little bit of marketing. Ushrin, my CMO, he was purely paid marketing and organic marketing. Ankit, my CBO, my chief brand officer, was designer, web designer, UI, UX person. So between us, we didn't need anyone for a little bit of time because all the core components of the brand was taken care of. So early days, long mornings, late nights, super gritty, tried to figure out how to sell 1 more unit more than the last day. Focused on Meta, Amazon community, and that was our early days.
Man, that is a great breakdown. And I want to dive into some of this. I know we're talking about the first 1,000 sales, but really it's about the first 500 because that's what you had to get through in order to get that next run. And I know all about it. I started supplement companies on my own. I got one of them on the shelf over here. And I remember, they were like 1,000 minimum. And I was like, holy crap, like I want 3 flavors. I got to order 3,000. Like, so getting those terms and things up front and working and finding suppliers that can really help you is huge. I want to kick off with like maybe a fun story, which is, do you remember the first sale? Do you remember the first sale that came in, where it came from? Were you guys celebrating? Was it your mom? Was it your cousin? Like, what was that? What was that first sale like? It's always one of my most favorite stories to hear from brands.
Yeah, it was, I think it was Oklahoma City, Holly Beal. And it was our first customer. It was funny. It was actually a funny story here. We got this first customer, and obviously, like, we're gonna be like, who is this? Like, we're gonna look them like we're like, where are you? Who are you? This is incredible. It was our first customer. Bought both the collagen, so it was like a $79.98 checkout. This was 5 years ago. I don't know if I'm missing a number, but it was like $79 checkout. And we're like, holy shit! Like, she hit the AOV we wanted, which was buying both items. And I remember the one thing that we were like interested about was like, who is this person, right? Because we had catered the brand, which was towards this group of people that are younger, like millennials. And we were hoping to get millennials more into collagen, because collagen skews a little older, usually like 35 plus. We wanted people like in their 25s and to 30s and to 35 to start getting into collagen. Holly Beal, I think, was 48 or 47. And we're like, why? We were like, this is kind of weird, because this is supposed to be like a 25-year-old girl that's supposed to buy this. Obviously, it was catered towards women, and it was like a 47-year-old. And then like the next day we kept seeing the age index being older, and we're like, what's going on here? This is not who we ended out to like go out to sell to. It was a really cool discovery later on that we understood what happened here. But yeah, that was our first order.
Man, this is perfect because it's the segue into, how did you choose those early customers to go after? Was it market research? Was it like, hey, we want to go after 25-year-old females who are into fitness, and then ultimately pivoted? Like, how did you go after or choose that initial market to go after? And then we'll get into kind of the plan of how you're going to get into that market.
Yeah, great question. When we designed the brand, it was around, hey, get younger people into collagen, as I mentioned, right? And that market that we wanted to go for was like the younger person that like still makes some bad decisions, has some bad habits, likes their morning Fruit Loops from time to time. Not the healthiest, but knows they need to become healthy, needs a gateway. We weren't going after the person that was going to Equinox 5 times a week. Like that was Vital Protein's customer. We didn't want that market. That market was already tapped into and has a really good product in Vital there. So ours was like the market right underneath, like the woman that doesn't want to take Vital because it looks boring and not exciting to take and feels extremely, medicinal. We wanted to go after that type of market. And so when we decided, how to brand it, we had to make it loud, tasty, colorful, and really align design and branding. And then I think lastly, what we wanted to find is like our price point. We wanted to hit middle America. We didn't want to make it like super premium to where like, we're catering to an extremely premium crowd. We wanted to make it so that like, we always kept calling it like, we wanted it to be a Walmart brand. Like if it belongs somewhere, it should be like a Walmart brand. And I think that was really cool.
Man, that's awesome. Let's go into, I want to talk about mindset, because something you mentioned earlier is like your initial goal was, let's just sell 1 a day. And once we've hit that, let's sell 2. Now let's sell 3. I think there's a lot of people who are listening to this who are like, man, if I don't sell 100, I hear this at Grommet all the time. Like, hey, we thought we were going to sell like 1,000 in a day, like these unrealistic expectations. But it sounds like you guys kind of had this mindset of like, well, we can't sell 100 until we sell 1. We can't sell, like, let's sell 2 now, like, and let's grow this. So talk to me through that initial like go-to-market mindset of like what you guys were setting out to do. And then again, I know Meta's different, 3-4 years later, but talk to me about those early like go-to-market strategy and how you guys put that together.
Yeah, great question. Early go-to-market, I'm going to be honest. I mean, what Ashwin knew best, what we knew best, what Ankit knew best was creating really good ads and selling and creating really good ads, and selling through Meta, or back then Facebook, as the main platform. Our go-to-market was literally like day one on the company launching. It wasn't like, let's wait for some organic sales, let's get friends and family. No, like we started ads. So when the company launched, it was like June 21st. We just celebrated our 5-year. That day of, like, it was like noon, we launched ads on Facebook. So it was very early on. That was our strategy, which was really hone in on Facebook. Now, the second go-to-market piece that was super important for us was we had no business being in this category. Like, we are 3 South Asian males selling to, 35 to 50-year-old, predominantly Caucasian women, right? That was the truth of both sides of the business, right? So when you look at it, we had a lot of imposter syndrome in us and a lot of, like, should we be doing this? Like, are we the right people to do this? And so the reason why we actually started this whole community, which again, it's on Facebook, we have 100,000 women in there now. It's the largest collagen community in the world. Now, the reason why we created that community was we didn't know the next steps of our business. Like, we launched 2 flavors because we're like, that was our hypothesis. Tastier collagen, will sell better, people will want it more. We had no idea what to do with the business after that. And so what we said was, if we make a community of people, maybe get like a few customers in there, some prospects, some people want to talk about collagen, maybe we can ask them, right? What if you just ask the customer how to build this brand next? Since then, we've launched, like I said, over 13 different SKUs and 13 different categories, and over 20 different SKUs across those categories. What you'll learn, I think, what we figured out was every single product category and launch that we had, we let our community decide. Till this day, we'll just put a survey out or a poll, like, hey, what flavor you guys want next? Or what product you guys want next, right? It took away any risk profile of screwing up phase 2 of your business, right? Because you can do phase 1 right and say, okay, I'm inching towards product market fit, but then the third SKU you launch is just a complete fail. And now your business is in cash flow problems, inventory problems, you're overthinking everything, you're double thinking if you should even do this and whatnot. And so we're like, we couldn't afford that. We're already an anomaly in doing this. 3 South Asian males building a women's collagen brand. So we were like, every move has to be close to perfect. So let's just ask our customers. So the community fostered that next go-to-market, which was, our go-to-market was high innovation, high pace of launching, a lot of SKUs and flavors, and that really helped us too. So those 2 things.
That is that's huge, and a bunch of people jumping in the comments like love the Facebook community idea thrown in there from Donna. So I agree, because you're right. If you pick that third SKU and you spend all of your money to get inventory that no one wants, you're going to put yourself in a little bit of a situation. My question is, how do you foster community in those early days when maybe you've only got 20 people in there, 50 people in there, like in those first days? How do you get them active? Because you have to engage them in order to get them to then answer the question when you're ready to sell to them, or to buy the product. So how did you guys think about that? And I think this also maybe ties into the imposter syndrome, where you're like, hey, should I, as Ron, be the advocate that's like running this community? And they're like, who the hell is Ron? And he doesn't look like me, or so talk to me about that idea, because I think a lot of people hear the idea of community and they're like, this is cool. Yeah. What's the tactical angle around this?
100%. Great question. Number one thing we did, and maybe like we're honest to a fault sometimes. When we had our first 10 people, me and Ash, my CMO, we went live in the community. We're like, hey guys, we just started this brand. We don't look like you don't look like us, but our true belief is that we want to make products that taste better, that are better for you, something that you want to wake up and take and not think that it's a routine that you have to. But we need your help. We need your help on what to do next, what flavors you want to see next, what other products do you have in your cabinet. We actually made people take pictures of their cabinet, post in the community, so we can figure out how to replace certain products for it to be all Obvi. That's how some of our product lines started and innovation started. Honesty. Number two, I think hiding behind who you are, I think, is worse than being someone that they didn't expect you to be. And I think that, like, when that settled in, we really, really owned that, which was like, we doubled down on saying, you know what? You don't know who we are. Okay, great. And we may not look like who you expected us to. However, we're letting you know that, and we're going to be consistently letting you know that. Since now it's been 5 years, 60 months, 240 weeks, we've gone live at least 200 times in that community. Like, we just went live last week, and we'll go live again tomorrow. Pretty much every Thursday, we go live, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. We're still the same people that launched the brand, weeks ago. Because if you think about it, even the new people that joined today is just as inquisitive as the first person that joined the Obvi community 5 years ago. And so you still have to treat them the same way, and their questions still come up, and those thoughts still come up. So just a relentless amount of consistency in delivering the authentic purpose of why you're doing what you're doing, I think helps.
Yeah, that and I know Leanna was asking that too. Like, that's what I was thinking. Like, how do I do this? I love the idea of going live, because with that, you can just kind of share a little bit about what's going on, a little bit of the journey, and then you let the audience ask questions or give you feedback, and you create the content based on what they want versus, hey, I created this cool visual or cool training or whatever. No one cares, right? You just jump in, and that's why we do these live, because I think I know what you guys want. But I love it when grommet brands are just like, no, ask Ron this, or how did he do that? Like, it's so much better content when you create actually what your community wants. So such a good tip. The other thing that I love about that is just the consistency over time. Just continue to show up. I think that is huge. And then again, like you said, you're not hiding behind a character or an AI avatar or anything like that. You're just like, hey, this is us. This is what we're up to. And I think that is really, really cool. Let's talk about going into this. So we talked about ICP, how you built that. We talked about early days, Meta, Facebook. We talked about community. It was a cool product, right? The product market fit, I think, was there. You want to be cooler than Vital, which you guys are way cooler than Vital. How do we now start this on ramp? So we've ran this Meta ad. We've run it for a week or two. We're consistently now getting that 1 sale. Now we're bumping it up to 2 sales. Now we're bumping, like, how do we get rid of that inventory? Right? Like, how do we do that to get rid of those first 500 units? And then secondarily, as you're starting to sell 200 units, 300 units, and you're going, uh-oh, we're about to be out of stock. Like, what does that look like in order to do that next run?
Yeah, great question. Few things. So number one, when it comes to those initial few hundred units, right? I think the method we had was, we had, again, 500 total units. And the method we had was, all right, we have to find 500 people that want this. And we have to give them 500 different reasons to get it, right? And so the way we went about it was like extremely, like, almost door to door, but digital door to door, right? So it's like, okay, on Facebook, we can only spend this much and we need to acquire this many customers. If that doesn't work, what's the next lowest hanging fruit? All right, well, let me sell the product on eBay, right? So I remember we were on eBay, and I think we still are. And eBay sounds bad because it's usually for people who resell products, but you can be a brand and selling a new product on there, right? It's just more placement on SEO wise for you. We went to Amazon and we said, hey, let's put a few units up here and see how many people buy it. And maybe we'll spend a couple of bucks on advertising. We went to a few mom and pop shops and said, hey, we can't sell too many to you, but we'd love to get 6 to 12 units to you, and we'll give you a discounted price. We'll just make a couple of bucks instead of 10 bucks. And then we also went and did something that was interesting, was we went international month 1. We had started to call distributors and suppliers in Australia and New Zealand, like, hey, we're a young new brand, up and coming. We're three guys who have industry experience, and we're building this brand. We'd love for you to get first access. And you flip the script of like, hey, my product's gonna go somewhere. It'd be awesome for you to be an early supporter, lock in some good pricing, and support us from day one, and you guys will really get rewarded. And I think till this day, the few accounts that we had in Australia, New Zealand, UK, Canada, we still sell into them. So I think it starts to become just like, think about all the places you want to be and where you can be. Think about all the places you want to be. Think about all the places you need to be. Divide all the units across those, and then just make it an effort of like, hey, did you hit your quota? Like, hey, were you able to sell your 3 units today? And I think part of it is everyone in your company, whatever your build out is initially, part of everyone's role and responsibility is being a salesperson, whether it's B2B sales, online sales, etc. So I think that was our mentality, which helped a lot.
I learned this from Dan Kennedy, one of my mentors. He's a direct response legend, and he always just said, I could never go to sleep at night until I did at least one revenue generating activity. And I think as D2C founders, there's so many things to do. I got to fix the Shopify store. I got to write the email flow. I got to do this. But did you do anything to sell your product today? And what it sounds like is like, that was an early, mindset for you guys, is like, hey, like, did you, Ron, did you do your thing today? Did you get your 1 unit sold? Did you get one? Like, and I think for everybody who's watching this right now, it's like, did you go to bed, and did you do one thing to try to sell your product, whether it's to a store, to an individual? Did you go live? What did you do to try to drive revenue? And that needs to be a focus early on. And I think a lot of the things you just shared, they're not rocket science. They're not hidden things that you guys did. It was just sweat equity. It was, hey, I'm going to call a couple stores today. Hey, I'm going to send a couple emails out today. I'm going to bang on some doors until somebody picks my product up. And those things start to snowball.
That's right.
As you continue to do them day after day after day. I want to do something really fun because I want to get the community involved. I know we got a lot of people watching right now. I actually picked up, so I went to Walmart and I grabbed a bunch of Obvi. So I'm skewing the data, but big fan. What I want to do is I want you guys to ask some questions in the chat that I'm gonna bring to Ron in just a second. And the top 2 questions that we answer, I'm going to ship you guys some Obvi on the house from Gromit today. So I want you guys to engage and ask questions. This is somebody, I know we're talking about early days, but these guys have grown and scaled so much. I've got like 2 or 3 more questions, and then I want to bring it to you guys. But if you guys want to win some Obvi, jump in the chat, ask some questions. I want to give away this stuff, let you guys try it, and also make you a part of the community so you can see what the Facebook group is like. What are the follow-up emails like? What are, see what these guys are doing, because they're doing it right in front of us, which is really cool about this world. I want to talk in those early days. There was probably some things that completely did not work, complete time wasters. Some things that you would not recommend to early founders. What were some of those initial things that were a complete waste of time? That look, we're all going to make these mistakes, right? But what do you look back on and you say, man, that sucked. Like we shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I think we didn't internally look at our best skill sets too much. Like once we figured out Facebook a little bit, we went to Google and we went to like other paid marketing platforms, and we did great on those and continue to do great. But then there were things like influencers and celebrities and like, building relationships with like, affiliates and stuff. We sucked at it. We still suck at it. Like we just don't know how to do it. We spent a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort in it. And I think sometimes you have to realize like whatever you're good at, do more of it and find small variants of doing it. Like if you're really good at selling online platforms, find more platforms. Don't find a whole new channel and strategy. I think we stepped into that world of influencers too early and really burnt out on it, just trying to build relationships and following up. So we just don't understand influencers that well. We don't get it. Not every company can do everything great. And I think there's a lot of things we don't do great, and that's one of them.
Man, the tip there, I think, is not that influencers are bad. I think it's find your wheelhouse and double down on your wheelhouse, besides just seeing the sexy object that another brand sharing on LinkedIn or Twitter or wherever you're getting your information from. I completely agree. Like, is Eric and I at Grommet, we keep talking about like, how do we continue to grow Grommet? I'm like, dude, I love doing this, like being in front of people and growing. Like, we're doubling down on lives, we're spending money on lives, we're promoting these to bring people in, as opposed to, like you said, like influencer stuff or partnerships. Like, there's different things that I think you as a founder have a great skill set in. If you're a great salesperson, you should be selling, right? If you're great at conversion rate optimization and landing, but like double down on that. If Meta freaks you out and you don't have the budget for an ad guy, like maybe don't start with Meta. So find your wheelhouse and double down on that. I got one more for you, then we're going to open it up to the chat. We're getting a ton of questions, so thanks, guys. Leanna, Rick, Leanna with another one, Rana, Donna, Jessica, man, you guys are blowing up some questions now, which is awesome. And this is a loaded question, but if Obvi were going to go to market now, or maybe even it's just a new SKU that you're going to market with, what are the top 1, 2, 3 things that you would do to get that first 1,000 sales?
If we're going to market now, the number one thing I think you should do is there's a very small shelf life left of TikTok shops, probably another 18 months, if that. Learn it. Like there is, back when we started, Facebook was the gold mine, right? Like you were getting customer acquisition cost of $10, $15, and it was, you were making money hand over fist. But now it's moved to like TikTok shops. I would learn that. I would build the product around that, the experience around it, and really figure that piece out. And then number 2 is you have something like Amazon that's creates so much validity and it's not going anywhere. There's too many people I still see, oh, I don't want to go on Amazon yet. I don't want to not get my customer information, or I don't want to get bad reviews and not be able to control them. Both things, you have to realize getting negative customer reviews is probably better to get it on early on than later, because you're hiding from it and avoiding it, and it's going to have a bigger impact later on retention. And number 2, not having your customer data is not a reason not to sell on a platform, because you're assuming every customer buying on there was going to buy on your website, and that is not the case. That is 100% not the case. And so I think understanding low-hanging fruit like TikTok shops, looking at marketplaces like a Grommet, like an Amazon, like additional marketplaces that are out there, I think are great places for discoverability. And then lastly, I would say content, like content marketing. That is 100. Like you have to nail that. Like if your product is not, you don't have enough ways on how you would develop or create content around it. Rethink the product and engineering of it.
That's I love that. So I agree. TikTok shops, there's a window right now. That window will close. Just like, it's not that Meta's bad now, just Meta costs are here, right? So you got to get that AOV up. You got to be a better marketer to make those things work. I love, looking at marketplaces, looking at platforms, Amazon, Grommet, like there's so many of them out there now. And I agree, like content, like you need to become a content machine. I'm the biggest advocate of, founder-led brands, right? Like I know Leanna's on here from TookTake. Like she should be the foremost expert on like medication and prescriptions and how to take them and reminders. Like it's just built into your brand. So 3 great pieces there. I'm going to turn it to some of the chat. We get some really, really good questions. The first one I'm going to bring in from my main man, Roy. He said, if you had to build a brand new community in a similar space or category, how would you start all over again? Would you still use a Facebook group? Would you do something like in Circle or School? Would you do it over text? Like how would you build a community in 2024?
I am still building on Facebook. The largest platform still, unless you're building a product that is young millennial and below, like Gen Z, then obviously avoid Facebook. I probably don't have the right answer for that one. I don't think Circle and those are scalable answers. But if you're building a product or have a product with a target demo of 35 plus, Facebook, go build it. Like I would still do the same way. And the reason is where do you go to buy your ads? You go to Meta, right? It is where do most of the ads get served placement wise? It's on Meta. What is the one tool and platform that everyone still has a login to? It's Meta. it's like there's something that just reminds you that, hey, this is the real home base. You may not log in every day, but there is the power of data, the power of tooling, and how great the platform was built for community. I wouldn't change anything there.
Love that. Couldn't agree more, right? If you're running ads on Meta and they're buying from Meta, like keep them there, right? Really, really good. I love this from Noki. I might change the question up a little bit. She said, what's the best, most positive feedback of benefits you received from a customer? Maybe like what is some good initial early feedback you got from customers that maybe change your strategy, change your approach, change formulation, like just, maybe that first customer who's like 50-year-old dude instead of 20-year-old, female. What are some things that you took from those early customers that maybe shaped the way that you market and grew the business?
Yeah, I think one thing we learned early on was that our customer would be like, hey, your product's a bit too sweet. I can't keep taking it every day. And it was like, wait, what do you mean? You don't want cereal every day? And I think the feedback we got was like, hey, the taste is amazing. But think about it. If something is sweet, like if you love an ice cream, you're not going to eat it every single day just because you love it. So I think one piece of feedback we got was like, sometimes overindulging and overly, overly catering to the experience you're trying to build is also not good. There is a bit as too much. So we tailored back the flavors, took out a lot of it to make it more lighter and more slight of a flavor that actually increase the consistent usage of the product.
Man, that's great feedback, right? Like you can't eat cake every single day, no matter how good it tastes. Let's talk about, so I got a couple questions on Meta, and I'm going to kind of combine them together. The first is, did you have a marketing budget when you started creating those Meta ads early? And then kind of the second piece of that is like, do you think ad campaigns on Meta are still an effective sales strategy today? Maybe where would you, in a go-to-market strategy, where would Meta be today?
Yeah, number one, try and, if you can, look up Ashwin Mawani, my CMO, talk to him, DM him. He's really good at responding. He'll respond to anybody. But 100% Meta is still a powerful platform to run ads and acquisition, but not if you're going to the platform with the lowest amount of ammunition, right? I think basically, and I hate to make this like war analogy, but think about Meta right now being like the largest war we've ever seen, World War III, okay? And you are equipped with going to the front line, and the only way you survive is if you just keep shooting, okay? And shooting is content, right? You gotta keep shooting. And so if you are told that you're going to the largest war, you're gonna be on the front line, and the only way you survive is if you keep shooting, what is the one thing you make sure you pack the most of? And that's going to be content, right? So if you're going to go and try and make Meta work, go there with so much content that you have an abundance to where like, I can't even, until you can say, I have so much content, I can't even test all of this. Keep making content. And then when you feel like you have enough, that's when you go to Meta. Don't go to Meta to learn that you don't have enough content. That's where you get burned.
I like the analogy. Again, like Meta wants to take your money and they will show your ads. But you're right, like you have to come equipped in order to do that. Leanna's got a great question here that I really like. In the early days, did you do any giveaways or contests or sweepstakes or anything along those lines? If you did it help? Or did it just get you a bunch of crappy email addresses that didn't end up opening your emails in those days? So what do you think about like contests, sweepstakes, giveaways, stuff like that?
Yeah, one thing that we did was early on, if you joined our community, we basically told people like, hey, if you are engaging and talking in our community, you'll be invited to become one of our admins. And one of the perks of being an admin is you get free product for life. I know that sounds like a crazy giveaway, but first of all, if you do the math, our product costs like $8 to $10. If someone gets product free for life, even for 5 years, okay, that's 60 products, let's say one product a month, times our cost of $10, that's $600, okay? And basically $600 giveaway. Now to be an admin, you have to basically engage, talk a lot, facilitate conversation, help people, comment on people, share posts, share good material, educate people, etc. Over the course of 5 years, if somebody has done that, and we have about 8 admins now that have, we've changed a few, but overall we have at 8 to 10 admins. These people have put in all their effort and energy into helping us build our community. It was probably one of the best giveaways we've done, which is free product for life if you help us foster this community.
Man, that's actually really cool. And what I loved about it was the breakdown of the cost. I think we always see like, oh, I got to give away product, but you couldn't hire anyone for $600 to do that job. And if you're hiring somebody for $600, they're probably doing a bad job.
My 2-year-old won't even work for $600. So, definitely.
This question might be a little more for what you're doing currently. I know you guys just had the huge sub summit and did a ton of this, but I think this kind of correlates into that is, did you guys ever run into the red on Facebook marketing, or how do you look at that? And I think the other side of it is you have to look at lifetime value. You have to look at, is there subscription? Is there money coming on the back end? You can't just be selling a one-time product and going into the red. Probably not a great way to look at it, but how do you guys think about, this whole side of customer acquisition costs, going into the red, your lifetime value?
100%. Our roughest year was last year. Again, if you look for Ash on Twitter and LinkedIn, and it'll talk you through the details. We were red in a few different months, probably a decent amount. I think the months we were red, though, it was because we were chasing revenue to fulfill this ego / desire to hit a number. Had we just said, you know what, we could be in the green if we just don't hit this revenue number. And we were like, wait, we're not going to do $1 million in a month? No way. Like, let's just go hit it. That's where we got into trouble. I think the ego got the best of us. Founder ego is a big problem. Number 2 is like these artificial goals you set. Yeah, goal setting is good, but goal chasing isn't. I was a big problem to that. Like, I had set a goal of like, hey, we got to hit 25 million this year. And we were coming short and like trending at 22 million. And I was like, all right, well, last few months, let's blow through it. Like, we have to hit this number. And we were going to the red because we weren't efficiently scaling. We were just scaling to hit a number. And I think that's where like you have to find the right balance of, yes, you need to move inventory, so you can't like not spend, but also spending irrationally when you don't have enough content, you don't have the right landing page test, you don't have the right systems and ecosystem to build a good retention program, then it doesn't make sense to do it. So yeah, I think that was painful.
Yeah, it's really important to know, like, what are you chasing and why are you chasing it? Yes. Super, super important. I've got 2 more for you. One from Leanna. PR. How do you guys look at PR? And this is more for the Obvi side, I think, than some of the things you've been doing on the personal brand side.
This and influencers, never figured it out. I don't know. I found this one platform that I'm still trying to figure out. It's called Linkby, Linkby. You can basically put a campaign and say, hey, listen, like, I want to be on Forbes and all these like 10, 20 different choices. And my campaign is going to be around the fact that I'm launching this new SKU and I'm willing to pay up to $3 per click or $20 CPM. And you set that campaign. And then if someone from Forbes wants to pick that up, or someone from whatever Time Magazine wants to pick it up because you denoted them as, they will and write an article about you. I'm testing that out. It's more a performance guaranteed. The whole PR of like pay a retainer model to a PR agency. We paid $8K to a W3 PR, great firm. We paid it for 6 months. I think we got like 20 placements. I have no way of knowing if I ever make that $48,000 back or if I already made it back.
Yeah, and when you break it down per placement, that's a really expensive placement that, again, I think one of the things you said earlier that I want to reiterate, and this is my belief on it, is if you create great stuff, people are going to report on it. People are going to ask, like, I think the reason, one of the things that I see, at least from the outside looking in, is when you're out there and you're creating all this great content, you're sharing stuff behind the brand and how you're growing and the things that you're doing, it makes people like me be like, hey, Ron, can I interview you and put you in front of my whole group? Hey, can we share this? Or it's like, if you put out great stuff in the world, you're going to create opportunity for yourself. Doesn't mean that PR can't amplify that, but if you're in charge, what can you control? Like, you can control the amount of content and the quality of content that you create and put out into the world. And if it's really good, people are going to share it. They're going to want to be a part of it. They're going to ask you to speak at events. They're going to want you to be on their podcast. They're going to, so that's the other side of it that I think you guys have done such a good job of, is creating that community. The community creates great content. You guys create great content, and people want to be associated with that. Which is kind of important. So kudos to you guys. Last one, it's not really a question, but I think it leads into a question of just like mindset and thinking through things. As Lauren says, TikTok is filled with problems. And I want to say, well, so is Meta, so is Grommet, so is Amazon, so is every platform on the face of the planet. And I think you just have to overcome some of those things and know that, like, if you're having challenges on TikTok, so is the next brand, but they're figuring it out anyway. And so I think it's that mindset you talked about earlier. It's just like, you got to put in the hard work, and you got to break through those things in order to have early success.
That's right. You nailed it. I think there isn't a clear-cut winner anymore. I think marketplaces such as a Grommet and Amazon still provide a very clear path of discoverability for cheap to no money, plus intent to buy because they're on a marketplace. But everything else, I mean, it's a black hole. Like, TikTok has so many problems, but like you said, Meta since iOS 14 has been the most problematic buying center since paid ads started. So it's difficult. They're all difficult.
Yeah, could not agree more. So a couple things as we wrap up here today. First is I want to tell you who's going home with some Obvi. And so the first one, I love the question. Roy talked about community, asked about how would you create a community again today. That is super tactical advice you guys can take straight to the bank. So Roy, I'm going to hook you up with one of these. Just shoot me a message on LinkedIn with your address, and we will get this to you. And the second one, I'm going to go with, Leanna, A, because she is a Grommet rock star, and 2, she asked like 3 or 4 really great questions. So Leanna, also just shoot me your address, and I'll make sure we hook you guys up with some Obvi. Make sure you guys check that out. One thing that I wanted to do is just really quick bring this up on the screen. Didn't mean to cut all of us off the screen, as I don't know how to operate my own stuff here. Guys, Obvi is up on Grommet right now. They're burned. I think, Ron, this is what you said. This is one of your top sellers or your best seller right now. You can go to Grommet, give these guys an upvote. They've got hundreds of upvotes, 283, but get them over 300. Just you guys watching this right now, get them over 300. When you give them an upvote, you get 20% off of your purchase. So you just give them an upvote here. You get 20% off. And then the cool thing is you purchase directly from Obvi. So you will get into their funnel. You'll see their follow-up emails. You'll get into their community. And you're just supporting an awesome company that, Ron, busy CEO, took 45 minutes out of his day to talk to you guys and share some of his best strategies with you. I always believe that one of the best ways you can say thank you to somebody you learn something from is buy their stuff, right? Like, that's the best way to support people on the planet. Just go to Grommet, type in Obvi in the search bar, and you can find them. Congratulations to Roy and Leanna for winning the contest today. Anything I didn't ask you today that maybe either was in your head that you wanted to talk about, or just anywhere else you want to point people to as they learn more about Obvi and what you guys have done?
No, I mean, listen, I'm pretty open book. Hopefully you guys can tell. DM me on LinkedIn, message me on Twitter. I also, if you want my phone number, text me. Like, I think for me, if I can help, we made a lot of mistakes. I see people, make different mistakes now, and we're learning from those. My biggest thing is like, as a entrepreneur, all of us, as operators and founders, we have a duty to make sure that we're building something selfishly for us, but also we have a duty because we've learned to, be inspired to build something from somebody else who built something, and we have to pass that down. So it's like, continue, I'm always here to help, and any way I can, point people in the right direction, always happy to. So feel free to reach out and let me know.
Awesome. Well, Ron, thank you so much for your time. And guys, if for some reason you're not on Grommet yet watching this, head on over to thegrommet.com. There's a big button right at the top that says submit your product. We'd love to have you on. Remember, the first 7 days you're on Grommet, you don't pay anything. No commissions, no rev shares, no sign-up fees, nothing like that. As Ron mentioned at the beginning, like, they've sent over so many cool brands that we're getting to launch right now. I know, like, SkyMD's up right now. Kushi just hit product of the week last week. Obvi's going to win product of the week next week. Guarantee it. And just really appreciate it. And thank you for the time today, and best of luck, my man.
Thank you so much. And thank you guys for incredible questions.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.